I'm Draco Self-Important, and I think you should listen to me. Today, you're going to listen to me read a comment and comment on the comment. You know how I love to do that. Um, Bit of a troll call, if you will. I don't. Yeah. The comment is from Treeforged 9097, who has commented a bajillion times before, been around for months. Some of his takes reasonable. Some of his takes want make me want to dig my eyes out. I think this is probably firmly in the latter category. Um, this is my third attempt at making this video because my dog wouldn't stop trying to dig through his bed in the loudest manner possible, so I had to literally put his bed away because every time he would settle down, I'd start talking, he'd start, yeah, you wouldn't have been able to hear a goddamn thing. Um, this comment is relatively long. I think I'm going to try to just get through it and then comment on it, but you know, let me just, before I start, because this first sentence is a doozy, I'd like to remind you that this comment was left on a video that the specific topic of the video was the election results. I have not finished the video yet, so maybe you get more into this, but so far, I think you are making a mistake by focusing on Trump and Harris. The election was between the right and left, not Trump and Harris. It's true that Harris did not use identity politics, but the left is totally seen as identity politics crazy people, so people voted for Trump specifically to vote against identity politics. I voted for Harris, but most of my friends voted for Trump. We are mostly in academia and engineering, so we might not be representative of the norm. They did not care as much about economics because we have money. I have one friend who is in grad school for biology who voted for Trump exclusively because he associates the left with the vaccine and he is incredibly anti-vaccine. Again, it's not about Trump. I did point out to him the fact that Trump paid for the vaccine, took the vaccine himself, and most of the things that happened during the pandemic happened under Trump and Republican politicians. He does not care because he firmly believes that the left is pro-vaccine and the right is anti-vaccine regardless of what Trump says. I have another friend who is really anti-illegal immigrant, but it has nothing to do with economics and is just about his ideas about justice and following the laws. He thinks if you break the laws, you should be punished or kicked out of the country. He is the same with things like shoplifting and all the nonsense about shoplifting being legal in California. It's about having rules and following them and everyone having to follow them. The right enforces the law and the left let people break the law according to identity politics. That's what they believe. We are somewhat younger, so maybe that's why nobody cares about trans people, but they do make jokes about them constantly, and it's trolling. It has nothing to do with them disliking trans people and everything to do with pissing off left-wing people, and it makes them feel intellectually superior when you take something that is a clear joke as if it were some form of serious oppression. It trivializes trans issues for them. All of my right-wing friends are pro-abortion rights. They do not agree with the rollbacks on access to abortion. Anti-abortion is a minority opinion. They just believe that the right is the less of two evils, so they can deal with the abortion stuff as long as they are also anti-woke and anti-illegal immigration and anti-vax. You just said something about abortion at the end that is absurd. Men do not want control over women's bodies. There are as many women who are anti-abortion as there are men who are anti-abortion. Even if we had a system where only women voted for abortion, it would still be this big disagreement that's locked nearly 50-50. Men are not the reason why abortion is illegal or under attack. There are millions of religious women. Women are more religious than men who are very pro-life. Over 50% of white women voted for Trump. This is not a man versus women issue. This is why identity politics is so unnecessarily divisive, and it leads you astray from real issues. Boy, is that correct. I agree with the Jon Stewart thing given what Trump is, but that is just totally giving up on the idea of politics, and it's just a Hollywood popularity contest. Brother, my brother, it's been a Hollywood popularity contest since Reagan. Like, I don't know what to tell you. That's literally what we're doing here. So this whole thing, your friends fucking suck and are dumb as fucking rocks. That's basically where I'm at. So let's break this down, because here's the thing: you're telling me about how these people are so anti-identity politics, and yet they are voting based on shit that's not at all based in reality, right? Um, if your personality is making fun of a group of people that you claim to not like just to piss off another group of people, that's you identifying yourself as anti woke. That is the identity politics that happened in this goddamn election. There was no left running. Harris is not the left. Like, she's a fucking cop. She is maybe center if I'm being charitable. There was no left, right? So, like, the idea that trans people even became a fucking issue is because they want a culture war. They want an us versus them attitude to be happening on the streets so that no one is looking up. So your little homies have bought into that shit hook, line, and sinker. You cannot be like, oh, they don't dislike trans people, they just constantly tell jokes about them and constantly focus them in their thought. Like, you literally are like, they're constantly telling jokes all the fucking time about, like, but we're the ones who are all crazy with identity politics, right? When every single bit of what I'm seeing from this, red hat wearing cohort is all about making sure that absolutely everyone you come in contact with knows exactly what your political beliefs are. And wow, it's often fucking white men. So, like, the I'm a fucking white dude American is pretty strong identity politics. When we start talking about things like replacement theory, like, this is identity politics. You have described to me the identity politics of the right. I'm like, when I talked about people voting based on the economy, that's from polling numbers. I didn't pull that out of my ass. So the fact that you are giving me a sample from an incredibly small population of somehow educated fucking morons is not, like, representative of what most people were voting for. Most people care about how much their fucking eggs cost. Most people do not give a shit about trans people. Most people don't fucking think about trans people. If you have got trans people on the brain and you aren't one and don't fucking know any, but somehow this is like the well of your joking, like, oh my god. It is identity politics. This is what identity politics looks like. Had Harris run a campaign on any kind of identity politics, she might have had a chance of fighting any of this, but she didn't address anything. And here's the thing, I talked about this before, there were people who either intentionally voted for Trump because they thought he was going to do what they wanted, or there are people who either did not vote for Harris, did not vote at all, decided to vote for Trump instead, that otherwise would have voted for Harris if she would have done anything correct. Palestine is the biggest. I know for sure there are a ton of actual leftists, not this fucking lib bullshit that y'all try to pretend is the left, actual leftists that did not fucking vote for her, did not fucking vote at all, voted third party, what have you, because the bitch wouldn't fucking do shit with Palestine. Because we are just fine with funding this fucking genocide. So there is no left. The right has created a fucking straw man in order to distract from the things that are actually going on in this country. Sarah McBride fucking said it. This whole bathroom bill shit. It's because this country has actual fucking problems, and what room I piss in is not on that list. The healthcare system is so bad that we are literally cheering a dude being murdered in cold blood on the fucking streets, but we're gonna be concerned about fucking where I piss, right? The anti-vax thing is just the dumbest shit in the universe. Like, it's just, I don't even know what the hell I'm supposed to do with that. It's just cognitive dissonance. Like, I think that the issue with there being no left is that people who are actually leftists recognize that we don't have someone representing us, and so, it doesn't really give you a good place to want to put your vote. Whereas people on the right don't fucking realize that none of the shit that they are supposing to care about is anything that is actually being worked on, right? Like, you think that once this new bird flu situation hits humans, that they're not going to make a vaccine about it, right? They're probably already working on it because they can see it coming. So, like, I'm sorry, man. Just anti-vax people are just so incredibly dumb, and I just do not have the time or patience to deal with someone who at least has a fucking bachelor's degree and is going for more education, who is going to vote for someone based on some shit that person isn't like. Motherfucker, like, the vaccine exists and was distributed under Trump. So, like, this is identity politics. This is, I'm going to make a stand based on how I want to be perceived in the world. I'm voting based on what I don't want to be, rather than any kind of policy or... They bought into the identity politics. That's the point. The right loves identity politics. Fucking loves it. It doesn't actually work, dude, because no group is a monolith. So, like, you can, all day be... Oh, God, it pisses me off so goddamn much. As far as the abortion thing goes, when you initially addressed abortion in this little comment, you talked about how your right-wing friends are not anti-abortion, right? And that being anti-abortion is a minority opinion. I agree. Overwhelmingly, in this country, people are pro-abortion rights. Every time there is a goddamn referendum such that it's actually on a ballot for citizens to vote directly, abortion rights are always upheld. Like, I literally think that there has never been a time that the people have voted against abortion, because people understand that sometimes shit happens and this needs to be available. Like, I've talked in previous videos, I think the one that he commented on about the Georgia dismantling the fucking board that tracks the deaths of pregnant people, rather than admit that this abortion ban is literally killing people, because there are women rolling into hospitals fucking bleeding out, but the fetus still has a heartbeat, so fuck you, you're both gonna die. And that's like the goal, because they want you to think before you act. And if the thought is, if I get pregnant, I might die about it and no one will fucking help me, then, I guess that discourages you or whatever. I don't fucking know. This idea that you think that this is just like there are some religious people who want this to be illegal and it's all women, like, you cannot start this by saying that this is a minority opinion and then immediately flip back and go, well, it would be a nearly 50-50 issue. No, the fuck it wouldn't. There are plenty of people who would never choose to have an abortion themselves, but still understand that there are occasions that the shit needs to happen, or you end up losing the baby any fucking way and the mother. So, like, It's just such fucking cognitive dissonance, dude. And, you know, the whole anti-immigrant thinks people should follow the rules or whatever. Yeah, ask that dude if he speeds. Has that dude ever, smoked weed before it was legal? Like, there are so many things that average ass American citizens do all the fucking time that are, in fact, technically breaking the law, but we don't care because it's like no big fucking deal, right? If you are a person who is coming to this country to work, right, 9 times out of 10 in a job that if you don't come to this country to take it, no fucking native born American citizen is gonna. There have been times where there have been issues with immigration and crackdowns and shit where there's just fruit rotting on the fucking vine. Yeah, I know that people who are voting against immigration are not doing that based on economics, right? They're doing that usually based on bigotry because 9 times out of 10, if it's a fucking Irish dude who overstayed a visa, they don't give a shit. But if you're brown and you work on a fucking farm, you better get the fuck out of my country. It's it's all fucking, oh my god, it's just all a bunch of people whose votes and out loud values are based on bullshit. They're based on a fucking fantasy. The right has crafted this beautiful fucking straw man in the form of, like, trans immigrant fucking no fucking critical thinking skills to speak of. None. Like, I'm glad you didn't fucking vote for Trump, right? Like, thanks for being the most reasonable person in a group of people who don't fucking get it. But wow, do these people not fucking get it? And, engineers, in my experience, are a special breed of people in the sciences. Um, I don't know what it is about engineering. I assume your brain has to work a little differently in order for you to be good at that, and whatever makes that happen also makes you fucking insane. And completely devoid of logic outside of your field of work. Because everything else is just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, oh my god. Dude. Like, what? There is no left. There is no left. There are leftist people, right? There are no leftist politicians. Bernie Sanders is as close as we've got. Like, that's, like, yeah. It is a Hollywood popularity contest. It has been a Hollywood popularity contest since televisions, basically. Like, I'm sorry, man, like Kennedy was, his being cute really got him a long way. um, yeah, but even he was a bridge too far. That's why they killed him. I am full CIA conspiracy theorist on the Kennedy assassination. They took him out. I also think that the government was directly involved in taking out, like, Martin Luther King, for example. It's what we do. If you get too loud, you say too much, people start to actually buy in to what you're saying. They'll just fucking kill you about it because we need to be in a constant culture war. We need to constantly be fighting against each other so that we never look up. And then you get people like this dude's homies who have enough money to not be concerned about the economic shit. They just buy whole hog into the anti-woke identity politics, because being anti-woke and being perceived as being anti-woke is more important to them than any actual issues. Total lack of empathy for other people. And as far as the whole shoplifting being legal in California, bro, what they do is just tally up your little thefts until you've stolen enough to make it a felony. Every time you walk into a Target or a Walmart or whatever, they have a profile on you. They follow your ass around with the cameras, with facial recognition, and then when you pay, most people use a card, and that card's attached to your name. And boy, let me tell you, were people dumb enough to use their card while stealing, or in the same store where they have previously stolen some shit, such that they know it's you. So they let you take the shit, and they let you take the shit, and they let you take the shit until you're up over 1,000 or 2,500 or whatever the fuck the law is, wherever the fuck they are, and then they go to the police. It's not legal. They just don't arrest everyone for a fucking pack of gum because law enforcement has other shit to deal with. Like, we have got bigger fish to fry than whether or not someone took a pack of paper plates from the fucking Walmart, right? Anyone who is like, you need to follow the rules regarding immigration, either has absolutely no idea what legal immigration looks like, and the hoops that you have to jump through, and the things that will qualify or disqualify you, and the timelines and the waiting periods, and it's not as if this is a situation where there is actually a system set up in order to let any of these migrant workers come through legally. It's just like the system is set up to keep this imbalance. There is a massive amount of our workforce that is undocumented, and the government looks the other way all the fucking time. And they do occasional raids, and the whole fucking point is so that these workers that are being dramatically underpaid don't have any recourse. They can be abused. It's just like the same shit with keeping prostitution illegal. It does not allow sex workers to have any recourse, so they can be abused. It's on purpose. It's intentional. The system is designed like that. So if there is a mass deportation, it's going to fuck us all over. Even your little friends with their money, if there are no fruits and vegetables to fucking buy, you can't buy them. So unless you're gonna get out in the fucking field and pick the shit, you don't get to eat either. It would not be the first time that there was a major food crisis that was the result of American immigration policy and deciding to crack down on illegals. Complete fucking cognitive dissonance. Your friends don't give a shit about abortion rights, right? They're pro-abortion, but still voted for the person who isn't because they're men and it doesn't affect them. They're more concerned about whether or not people think they're woke than they are concerned about actual issues. Because you're telling me that you know that it is a minority opinion to be anti-abortion, and yet these people are voting for someone who made, which, to be fair, Trump is dancing around the abortion shit. Like, he doesn't want to come out and be like, abortion bad. It's just, he's saying it's up to the states. We're going to leave it up to, as if, Project 2025 didn't come out. Like, we know what the plan is, dude. And that's the thing, too. They telegraphed everything that they're doing. So the fact that people are... Oh, yeah, and the constant making jokes about trans people, if you really don't care, why the fuck is my name in your mouth kind of a thing, Like, what's the obsession about? Like, other than making sure that everyone knows that you're anti-woke, because that's identity politics. So if you really believe that identity politics are the problem here, which identity politics are pretty fucking lame. We really should be more concerned about actual issues, policies, things that affect people, things that affect the environment, maybe. You know, there's shit that we should care about, and whether or not someone is, you know, white or a dude or like, none of these things should be important. None of it. But the fact that you're going to, for no fucking benefit of anyone that I could possibly see, make fun of fucking trans people all the time just to be cool? Like, does it make you feel better? Like, it pisses me off. The right talks so much about identity politics of the left, while all they fucking do is engage in identity politics, because everything they do is about being anti-woke, anti-diversity, anti anything fucking reasonable, and they completely ignore all of the actual issues. Yeah. What do your friends think about things that, like, actually affect one's day-to-day life? You know, like Mr. Anti-Vax, what are his thoughts on fucking healthcare? Probably that everyone should have to pay, and if you don't have the money to pay, you should just die about it. Because your friends are fucking selfish twats. Like, it's simple as. Their entire life view is based around making sure everybody knows how anti-woke they are, and fuck the consequences of any of it. Like, you know, do these people have women in their lives who might need a fucking abortion at some point, might want one for that matter? Because I don't fucking care. Listen, man, if you really do not want to have a kid, don't. The last thing this world needs is even one more child that enters this world resented for its very existence. All right? It's not a fun life. So, like, maybe not doing that to people would be good. And you can say adoption, and sometimes that works out, but sometimes it doesn't. And there are lots of children in foster care. So, yeah. This idea that if you only let women vote on abortion, that it would be like this 50-50 split is just bullshit. It's just complete bullshit. Like, have you ever talked to a woman? You know, I mean, even fucking religious women that I like, there are, oh my God, whose names are on these bills? These bills are not being put forward by women, right? When I say that men are trying to control women's bodies, I mean the men in power. I don't mean, you know, Joe Schmo boyfriend of a pregnant woman fucking shit. I mean the people who are writing these bills. I mean the people who want to pregnancy test women when they get on a plane to leave the state, to make sure that if they're pregnant when they leave, they're still pregnant when they come back. Right. There have been cases already of people being prosecuted for miscarriages even before this shit. Like, it's the patriarchy, friend. It's a system that is designed to make sure that women are well aware that they are less than men, and that they do not have as much power, and they do not have as much autonomy, because they do not have choices about what to do with their own fucking body. Because if a man knocks some bitch up, he can bounce, and just, that's the end of it. Never has to do it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, child support exists, but you know as well as I do that there are plenty of fucking dudes out there who will not have an on-paper job and will work under the table for the rest of their fucking lives just so that they can't possibly be garnished. Can you not, please? Seriously, can you not? My horse agrees. Dude. Just complete cognitive dissonance. Just absolutely no sense at all of reality. Just, I want to make sure that everyone I come in contact with knows how fucking anti-woke I am. while I'm the one complaining about identity politics. No, dude. The left does not want identity politics. Are there a bunch of fucking libs who think that identity politics are a fun time? Yeah, There are a bunch of fucking libs, most of which who are just filled with white guilt, who, want to make very clear just how woke they are, right? We could just fucking have beliefs and live our lives and not have to broadcast all of this shit, but here we go. It's and I do think that there is a difference between doing this, right? Coming out onto the internet, making content, trying to have a conversation specifically about this, versus in your day to day life, fucking at work or whatever, telling jokes about populations of people that you have absolutely nothing to do with, just so that everybody knows how fucking anti woke you are. You know? Or the people who slip, like, if we're going with the libs, like people who need to slip all of the, oh well, I have a friend who's a this and into their conversations so that people will know how woke they are, right? Like, we don't need to do this in our day-to-day lives, like, yeah, you can have political conversations, but that's not what this sounds like. This sounds like a bunch of dudes who want to feel superior. You literally said they feel intellectually superior because people get upset about jokes, as if it's serious oppression. Like, there is a cohort of people in this country who very much do care about trans people because they want to eliminate us. And they have said it out loud on stages, right? Like, there are politicians who have literally said that we need to be eliminated. Right? Like, at bare minimum, they want to put us all back in the closet. They want to go back to a time where it was unacceptable to be out as anything. You were either straight or you pretended to be, and that's just the end of the fucking story. We're talking Stonewall, right? Like, the Stonewall riots came about because people were being arrested for fucking cross-dressing, dude. Like that's what this shit has always been around. We are not new. We are just louder now and have a place to come and yell about the shit. Not that, like, I am fully aware that I am algorithmically cucked. I talk about a bunch of shit, and I don't generally censor my language. So, like, this shit does not get pushed out to the masses because it's not advertiser friendly. Because I'm an angry, radical, leftist, trans dude yelling into the ether. But, can you not? But this idea that, these fucking anti-woke as their entire identity dudes are against identity politics is bullshit. It is identity politics. The right is better at identity politics than anybody the fuck else. Because they will weaponize the identities of other people and villainize them. Because there has to be a war. And the whole immigration thing is just so fucking stupid in a country full of immigrants to begin with. We are like the biggest fucking hypocrites as a nation that you probably could be. It's like, where the fuck are that guy's parents from? Dude. Yeah. So, in summation, oh my god, did you actually listen to any of the words that I said in the video? What you're arguing is insanity. Are there people who vote for identity politics? Yes, absolutely. But most people don't give a shit. Most people don't need to go out of their way to express to you how anti-whatever they are. They just don't, dude. Like, yeah. I don't know, man. It's just, I would love to hear what anyone else has to say about this. I am gonna go because clearly this dog, while gnawing on my arm, is trying to get my attention. So, I love you. Be safe. Make good choices. Oh.